It's Saturday morning cartoons, and welcome to Sacramento, where it's might be 111 degrees. But right now it's nice and cool in my office, and I got a fan going there. I hope it's not disturbing you. But anyway, I thought I would, as I was going through things the other day, I ran across things that I've written that I'd forgotten I'd written. One of them concerns my brother, Mark, my late brother, Mark. Mark was 7 years older than I. No, excuse me, 6 years older than I. And he passed away a few years ago. And we were very, very close, especially in the first half of our lives. And he was a remarkable, remarkable character. And I loved him dearly. And but like many people, he struggled with alcohol and substance abuse for a great many years, and he recovered and became an aggressively marvelous professional substance abuse counselor, and helped countless people in the last part of his life. And as many of you who are familiar with the Alcoholics Anonymous 12-step program, one of the steps is sort of taking stock in your past and sort of an extended confession. And Mark's extended confession was a book that he self-published called Orange Sunshine, or How I Almost Survived America's Cultural Revolution. Now, the first edition of this, I provided the foreword to him, and I think it's still available on Amazon. And but anyway, I would like to read you the foreword to the very first edition of this, because it's cute. It was 31 years ago this morning, February 27th, 1967. I was 18 years old, and my brother Mark was 24. We sat atop one of the monstrous boulders that are heaped like petrified dinosaur droppings across California's Mojave Desert, and watched the moon bury itself in the western sands. 180 degrees away on the eastern horizon, or the eastern horizon split in a lewd and blood-red invocation of the sun. Shortly before this celestial orgy, we shared a mystic feast of far too much LSD, and vowed in deadly earnest that we would not return from the wilderness until we were holy men. These are the opening words of my 1999 My Life with the Spirits, a tale whose narrative intersects throughout the events described in my brother's marvelous work, Orange Sunshine. Both are autobiographies, so you might be tempted to assume they spring from deep inside the self-indulgent loins of narcissism. If so, you assume correctly. How could it be otherwise? Yes, I am self-centered, self-absorbed, self-possessed, and full of myself. So what? Upon what should I be centered? With whom should I be absorbed? Who else should possess me? Who else should I be filled with? We are all autobiographers. Everybody's life is a movie, an adventure. But it seems a sad fact that some of us, but it remains a sad fact that some of us examine our lives and some of us don't. All of us live our life's movie, but not all of us allow ourselves to actually watch the movie. Fewer still make the effort to share the adventures with others. Writing the candid story of one's own life is perhaps the most painfully embarrassing experience a person can imagine. It can also be extremely rewarding and cathartic. Of course, it helps if one's adventure is populated by a cast of bizarre and unforgettable characters, tragic and hilarious outlaws and saints, all passionately chewing the scenery against the backdrop of one of the most colorful and turbulent eras in American history. It also helps if your adventure is spiced with hot cars, rock and roll, guns, psychedelics, motorcycles, dope, revolution, and all manner of wickedness and debauchery. As you'll soon learn, Mark and I have always been close. As children, we supported and nurtured each other when the shortcomings of our parents would have otherwise made our existence intolerable. As young adults, we tandemly plunged headfirst into the spiritual revolution of the 60s. Like many of our generation, psychedelics and Eastern mysticism played a very important role in our initial efforts towards self-awareness, and our joint experiments with LSD were, in fact, in my opinion at least, very spiritually rewarding. So was our participation, formal and informal, in yoga. I can't resist sharing another short clip from my Life with the Spirits that illustrates in painful detail the follies of youthful spiritual pretense. I'll share it with you. This is from my Life with the Spirits. At first we thought we could mix psychedelics and yoga. Like idiots, we registered for an all-day Christmas meditation at Paramahansa Yogananda's Self-Realization Fellowship Temple. This is in Fullerton. In order to make sure we would get the maximum spiritual impact from the day, Mark baked the most extraordinary loaf of marijuana banana bread. It was the first time we ever tried this recipe, so we were unsure how it would affect us. It was very tasty, so delicious, in fact, that we couldn't believe that it could be very potent. Just minutes prior to entering the temple, we sat in the car and gorged ourselves on the whole loaf. Now, I've shared this story with you before, quite recently, actually, but I put it in this book, too. We were warmly welcomed by a serene-looking monk who ushered us into the meditation room. In the east was a small altar displaying portraits of the line of SRF gurus. Facing the altar were 5 or 6 rows of straight-backed wooden chairs with padded seats. A neatly folded blanket hung over the back of each chair. "Do we have to sit in these chairs?" I asked with affected humility. "We would prefer to sit on the floor in our asanas." The monk looked at us incredulously. "My friends, this is an 8-hour meditation. I'm sure you'll be more comfortable seated in the chairs for that amount of time." "We'll be the judge of that," Mark replied with a patronizing giggle. We couldn't understand why the monk didn't believe we would prefer to meditate on the floor with our legs locked in a full lotus position, like real yogis. What kind of yogis are these? Mark thought. By now the banana bread was taking effect, and I could read his mind. Yeah, I answered mentally. He must think we're some kind of white guys. The monk showed us where we could sit on the floor and informed us there'd be a break in 2.5 hours in case we wanted to move chairs at that time. Move 2 chairs at that time. We'll be fine, I assured him. Within a few minutes, the little chapel was filled with neatly dressed devotees, none of them elected to join the 2 real yogis on the floor. The monk said a few words about Christmas being a very spiritual season and quoted a little from the writings of Yogananda. Then we all chanted a few of the order's cosmic chants and settled in for the first 2.5-hour period of silent meditation. Mark and I immediately realized it was a big mistake to have eaten all the banana bread. We were painfully high. We turned to one another and looked helplessly at each other's bulging yellow eyes and mentally screamed, "We gotta get out of here." Nevertheless, we closed our eyes and tried to be troopers. Our legs soon fell asleep, and without the distraction of pain, so did I. I guess I was snoring pretty loudly when Mark jabbed me in the ribs with his elbow. The monk opened one eye and silently glowered at us. It was absolutely amazing. We could read his mind, too. We squirmed and dozed through the longest 2.5 hours of our lives and quietly slithered to the car during the first break. We would not return to finish the meditation. Orange Sunshine is a war baby. I'm talking World War II, everyone, because Mark was born in 1942. Orange Sunshine is a war baby's odyssey in the most literal sense. Like Odysseus, our all-too-human protagonist is buffeted by the seeming caprice of the gods as he pilots his lost soul Argos from island to island of war, captivity, torment, madness, and temptations. He calls his companions who accompany him on his adventures buckaroos. And as you'll soon discover, there are buckaroos of high degree and buckaroos of low degree, or lower degree. They are an odd assembly of curious, heroic fellows, each possessed of their own combination of flaws and virtues. And like the Argonauts of Homer's tale, most of them do not survive to the end of the story. We all have such companions in life, but very few of us hold them in the same respect or view them in the same dramatic light as the author does in Orange Sunshine. This ability to see the cosmic nobility in all our fellow actors is the singular genius of Mark DuQuette. In October of this year, this is 2000 something here, the original members of the Charlie D. and Milo Band held a reunion in Clear Lake, California. Joining them were the surviving buckaroos of high degree and their spouses. It was a cosmic event that left us all in tears. In honor of the event, I wrote a song, which I confess was crafted to make us all bodily ascend. And I think of no better way to end the foreword to my brother's wonderful book than by sharing with you, the lyrics. True Buckaroos. I ride with true buckaroos. No better pals could I cruise with. From life to life, like a family we choose. True buckaroos incarnate together. Like cosmic gypsies we roam. The Dharma highway is our home. Sometimes we're outlaws, and sometimes we're saints. Sometimes we're heroes, and sometimes we ain't. I ride the range with true buckaroos. Life is strange with true buckaroos, but I love you. Love all my true buckaroos. Through thick and thin, closer than kin, we live and die, but seldom judge each other. Into the sunset we ride, true buckaroos side by side. Day soon will pass, and this moment won't last. So before these sweet memories we lose, thank you, my true buckaroos. And thank you, Brother Mark. You are indeed a buckaroo of high degree. And that's it for Saturday morning cartoons. Tomorrow is Sunday school, and I'm hoping to get Saint Constance to make some kind of appearance tomorrow. But I can't promise because nobody speaks for Saint Constance. So, Svengoolie tonight. I hope I don't turn into a complete ball of sweat. Until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. And thank you, my buckaroos of high degree.